Now, dear students, learners, here I go with my third video lesson on group discussion. I think earlier I had given you a very basic idea about the group discussion. The second one was on group discussion, for that of the, we had divided the group discussion into three phases. First one was, say, initiation or introductory stage. The second one is the body or the discussion or the power struggle stage, you can call it, right, or phase. And then at the end you have summarization. So today we go into the body, discussion or the power struggle phase of the group discussion. Now, this actually phase is the core of the GD, where participants engage in a dynamic exchange of ideas, arguments, counter arguments, right? And this is the actually phase where the participants demonstrate their communication skill, critical thinking skill, power, ability to collaborate, engage with each another, and also this also show how updated they are with the facts and figures. Now, when discussion is going on, that is actually, as I said in the title itself, there is power struggle which is inevitable. The very GD is meant for that. So group members may challenge each other with facts, figures, statistics. There could be conflict, there will be stiff competition to scale up to the peak during the phase somewhere. That could be serious conflict. People at times go to the physical threats. This should not happen. Everyone is now involved in this particular stage of discussion, right? And throwing questions at each other and asking for clarifications. There is also possibility of some members emerging as dominant, whereas others may find it very comfortable to go with others, right? Now, every member wants to be heard in this phase. They carry sometimes a myth that only those people who speak, loudly or dominate, consume the larger segment of the entire GD, they are only selected or they are only appreciated. This is the wrong notion. So some people do it. Now, then how should one carry oneself, himself or herself during a GD, and particularly this discussion phase? So one has to first of all stay calm, never lose your temper, be empathetic, take others with you, give time to everybody to speak, as I said earlier. And when you are putting forth your thoughts and feelings, do it in a very lucid manner. What does that mean? There should be least of ambiguity, there should be absolutely no confusion in the minds of the fellow participants. This is actually the time when you show your soft skill or communication skill, creativity, as I mentioned earlier. Now, one of the techniques that has been given by experts is called PREC techniques, PREC. What does it mean? Point, rationale, example and conclusion. Now this is the sequence in which you have to go. Now this will be more clear if we take an example here. Now suppose the theme or the title given for a GD is social media impacting our social behavior? Then in the point stage, what you have to do? You have to clearly state the main idea or argument that you want to make. For example, I believe social media has considerably influenced our perception and communication pattern in most of the situations, be it profession or in our social interactions. This could be your point that you are making. Then to support this point, you have to give some rationale. What is rationale? Provide the reason or justification why you believe so. Okay? Now your answer could be like this, having stated the point. What is that? Face-to-face interactions are decreasing as online communication through social networks like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, these are become the new norms. We text a message back home through WhatsApp if we are returning late. We even nowadays in offices we share our leave application. Your boss is also issuing or sharing a notice for a possible meeting, right? Through WhatsApp. No more letters. Then give an example of. Already I have given you an example. So what you should do in order to support your proposition. So you have to say young people are more likely to communicate with friends and family through social media platform, as I said, Instagram, WhatsApp, rather than meeting them in person. If you ask your family members how often they meet their neighbors or a distant relative, they say, oh, it's not necessary nowadays. We are able to maintain that links over sending a sharing a message. Regularly we exchange our WhatsApp greetings, morning, good afternoon, evening, how are you, this, that. Wedding, reception or invitations are also sent through nowadays soft copies. So finally you come to the conclusion part. What do you say? Now, while social media has been increasingly fostered global connectivity, it is also led to a decline in the traditional form of communication, and this trend is irresponsible. Now, this stand you have taken in your fast go, maybe you cover up all these within say 2 minutes or so. Now, so what you should be mindful about in this discussion phase of the GD? The second phase, let me tell you, there are 3 phases we have identified. First was the initiation or introduction. Second one is the discussion phase or the body phase, what we call it. And finally there will be summarizing. We will go to that also later on. So what all one should be mindful about in the discussion phase? First is active participation. You cannot remain dormant, you cannot remain statues. You have to speak, you have to participate. So you have to take your turn, right? You can also intervene in between, express your opinion, contribute to the overall discussion, right? Make it more lively through your ideas, views. You should also strike a balance between, so don't overspeak. This is what we mean. Participation doesn't mean you go on, consuming, excess time. So you have to strike a balance between speaking enough and also allowing others to contribute their ideas. Either extreme is bad. Next is, content delivery. You have to deliver your content. How do you deliver your contents? You have to present your arguments, providing evidence, examples, logical reasoning to support your claims, right? Suppose you are taking a stand that judiciary is supreme, not the legislature. So how do you put it across? Right? You have to state evidence where legislature have enacted unethical laws which have been turned down by judiciary. Okay? Unless you do that, your content delivery isn't correct. Next, go for active listening. As I said, active listening is a very much part of your GD, not that you go on always speaking to, right? So, pay close attention to others saying. This will demonstrate respect for different perspectives. Cross questioning. Participants may ask clarifying questions or challenge points made by others to go deeper into the topic. For example, if I have heard you right, did you mean to say this? Right? May I ask the source you are quoting, the figures, facts, statistics, how authentic they are? You can put this type of cross questions also. This is also part of your GD discussion stage. Next, maintaining composure. As I said, you have to remain calm, composed and respectful. Okay? Never be aggressive. Sometimes what happens, members may instigate you deliberately, right? Trying to arouse your negative emotions. But don't fall into their trap. Maintain your calm, composure and be respectful for others. Next is maintaining eye contact and correct postures. Your body language speaks volumes about you in the GD also, not only in the interview. Maintaining a right posture, eye contact, and a open body language are important. So here, regarding eye contact in particularly, that's the Pareto rule. What the Pareto rule says? That you split your eye contact time as 80-20, right? 80% of the time you look at the active participants, but balance 20%, you have to look at the less active ones or people who are interactive. You cannot leave anybody, not looked at, right? Don't disrespect anyone. Okay, now we'll see shortly what are the different phrases one can use during the GD phases, right? And we'll divide them into different segments for convenience or understanding. When you are initiating a discussion, we have already had another video on how do you initiate a discussion. But here, what should be your sentence like? We'll just briefly touch into what can be the proper way to begin. Here I am. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening as the case may be, ladies and gentlemen or fellow participants. I would like to begin or start by saying that. Then you continue. It could be like this also. I would like to begin by stating my view on the matter. So these are some possible sentences. There can be many more. I am not giving you an exhaustive list. Then what are the phrases when you are using just to agree with others? Here go the examples. I totally agree with Mr. X or number 5, because I already told you in the previous slide that they are addressed not by name but by numbers or alphabetical numbers or the numeric figures. Mr. 5, Mr. 4, Mr. X, Mr. Y. So you can address that. I totally agree with Mr. X, Mr. 5. As a matter of fact, Mr. X is right by saying, you can suffix something. For instance, honesty pays in the long run. This is what you are saying. As a matter of fact, Mr. X is right when he says that honesty pays in the long run. Or you can go on, I think you are absolutely right, Mr. X, Mr. number 5. Then he says, another possible sentence could be, I have to side with Mr. Y on this issue. Right? See, mark the facial expression, the voice, tone, and everything. There can be no doubt that what? Now suffix with something like this. Politics should be pure and science should be sure. For instance, I am just giving you examples. You can have your own sentences. So there can be no doubt that this politics should be pure and science should be sure. Next, phrases when you disagree. Now you cannot do it rudely. You have to do it very politely and in an appropriate way. Otherwise, you will sound rude and impolite. So what are the phrases like when you disagree? Politely. With due respect, I believe it would be wrong to what? Wrong to oppose, let's say, uniform civil code. Something, right? Then another sentence could be, sorry Mr. Y, number 8, I would only partly agree to that. Okay, that means I don't totally agree with you. Likewise, I am afraid, I feel it won't be right to what? I give you an example here. Right to support reservations policy of the government indefinitely. See, you are stressing the word indefinitely. So these are some of the phrases where you can use when you disagree. Sharing your own opinion. Let's say you are going to share your own opinion. How do you do it? You must sound convincing, right? And also assertive. So, how do you put it in a comprehensive sentence form? Now, the sentence could be like this. My honest opinion would be that. Then you can suffix. The way I see it, okay, the point I would like to make is that, this is another one, I would like to say that, then you can suffix. For instance, you can say, I would like to say that this VIP culture should go once for all, right? Law should be equal for everyone. Or the sentence can be this way. I am of the opinion that, then I am giving you an example here. To be eligible to contest in general elections, education should be mandatory. This is highly debatable. Okay. Now if you feel like, you can put it this way. So sharing your opinion, phrases could be this way. Next we go to asking for clarification. As I already said somewhere, but let us go ahead with a little bit more. If you don't understand someone's opinion, views, you have every right to ask them to further clarify or explain. So how do your phrase would be like that? I am sorry, but could you please make it more clear? For instance, could you please make it more clear as to who had said so and when? Whatever sentence he had said, you want further clarification. If you don't mind, Mr. Number 5, could you please explain that again? This is another way to ask for clarification. Then suppose you want to interrupt politely. How do you want to do? See, you should not interrupt more often. But when occasion demands, you can do it, very politely. Okay? How do you do it? These are the phrases you can use. Sorry to interrupt, but what? I would like to make a small correction. Some figures and facts here stated which you don't feel that they are correct. I would like to add here that there were 8 members, not 6 as you mentioned. This is another correction you are doing, and you are interrupting very politely. Next, there are other phrases also that you make use of while you are having the group discussion and in the discussion stage. This is regarding the ground reality. Suppose you are stating something which is the ground reality. How do you say your sentence like this? In today's world, or in the today's context, I give you here an example. Money do matter greatly. Suppose you are stating some popular facts. How should you begin your sentence be? As a matter of fact, India will be the 4th largest economy. Right? Some claim it is India has already become 4th largest economy. But then, for example's sake, you can take it. Thanking somebody who is asking you, right, or asking you to clarify. So before you make your point, you can thank the person. What will be your sentence like? Thank you for asking my opinion on, let's say, reservation policy, uniform civil code, anything. So you are complimenting the person who has put you some questions. Suppose you want to quote someone. How do you do it? You can say, as the great scientist Mr. X or Y had once said, right? Past tense. Right? So this way you can go about making a positive impression and be more active participants in a GD. Okay? Now I stop it here. Okay? Thank you all for listening, being with me. We'll meet again in my next video, which will be on another aspects of GD. Right? Then thereafter we'll be going into PR. Okay? Thank you.